well, not every fight in this franchise is going to be amazing, and I've already listed what I think are the best fights. Let's take a look at the worst. That being said, this was actually a hard list to come across because I don't think there's any real standout terrible fights in the Godzilla franchise. There's a few bad ones, definitely, but I wouldn't say any of these are like awful, oh my god, what the hell were they thinking? These are just the ones that were either disappointing or just, not as good as some of the standouts that we've had in the franchise. Anyway, in this list that I'm sure will get me in absolutely no trouble at all and have nobody tell me that my opinion is wrong, and I'll have absolutely no negative comments towards, let's begin the list with predictably number 10. Godzilla vs. Biollante, the final battle in Godzilla vs. Biollante. This isn't a bad fight, what they do in this fight is actually pretty fun. However, this is number 10 because, well, just how short it is. It is less than 3 minutes long, and considering how amazing the Biollante monster suit is, it's just very disappointing to have such an amazing creation, have so much build up towards it, and have only 5 minutes of screen time. I'm not saying every fight has to be a massive 10-minute long slugfest. You can do very fun, short fights. I mean, look at Godzilla Final Wars for a perfect example. But for the final battle of this movie, it's just a bit of a disappointment, and it just ends so abruptly. Godzilla and Biollante just stop fighting, Godzilla just walks off, there's no real big climax. So it's just a big disappointment after the great reveal of Biollante's final form. But still, not a bad fight, just a short one. On to the next number. Number 9, Godzilla vs. Gigan in Final Wars. Okay, when I was just talking about how Final Wars could have great short fights, this isn't one of them because, well, I mean, it's a lot of build-up for nothing. You have Gigan, who has this amazing build-up and reveal, and then we have Godzilla doing one of his most awesome introduction scenes ever, and it looks like we're gearing up to a great fight, and then it's over. It's over amazingly quickly, and it's very disappointing, for the same reason the Biollante one, really. Neither of these monsters actually make contact with each other. And considering Gigan has those giant sword hands, you would have thought they would have, had a little bit of hand-to-hand combat before blasting Gigan's head off, but no. Bit of a disappointment, really. I was really hoping for a better, longer slugfest. Being that there are so many fights in this movie, not everyone could be amazing. Still, the music for this fight is absolutely amazing. Number 8, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, their first battle in Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. Now this isn't the final battle, which is better than this one, a lot better. This is the first battle between Godzilla and Space Godzilla on Infinite Island because, well, it's just the two standing there shooting their beams at each other. Neither of them actually make contact with each other, they just stand there and just shoot each other with their beams. It's very repetitive. The music is very good as usual and does add a bit of excitement to it, but yeah, there's not much really to this fight. It's just the two kaijus just standing there shooting their beams at each other. It kind of sums up the big problem with the Heisei era fights in this one fight, is just a lot of them are just them standing there shooting their beams at each other. They don't really show anything else. There's nothing much really apart from that. It's a bit of a disappointment. Next number 7, Godzilla vs. Mothra in Tokyo SOS. Hey, do you like the weakest Godzilla getting his ass kicked for a whole movie? And do you like Mothra just floating there, flapping her wings, firing glitter at Godzilla for ages? Well, is this the fight for you? Yes, I know this movie has its fans, but I am not one of them. Godzilla getting his ass kicked with no comeback doesn't really agree with me, and that's the whole problem with the Kiryu saga, is that this is probably the weakest Godzilla in all of the movies. He is completely outmatched, and it really does show in this fight. Godzilla barely does anything to Mothra. He gets some attacks in, yes, but most of the fight is Mothra just standing there, flapping her wings, shooting glitter at him. Godzilla even hurts himself by setting off the glitter in a giant explosion. The fight scene's shot very well, but there's not much to it. It's just Mothra flapping her wings at Godzilla. That's it. I'm not a fan, if you can tell. Number 6, Godzilla vs. the Mutos in the final battle of Godzilla 2014. Now when we actually do get to see these three fight, it's pretty awesome. But that's the point, we barely actually get to see anything. Yes, past Godzilla movies have done this before where they have cut away from the monster fighting, but it is not to this extent. And usually when they're cutting away to something, they're cutting away to something interesting. But no, this time when they cut away, they're cutting to dull Brody soldier watching the fight, and we're watching him watch the fight. Why can't we see the fight? Come on, it's so cool for what we do get to see, but no, it's always in the background, or it's being obscured by something else, or they just cut away from it altogether. We want to see some monster on monster action without interruption, and we do get some gorgeous goddamn moments and shots in this, but there's just too little in this to really make it any good. It's just so frustrating how many times they cut away from the fighting. We get less than a minute of monsters fighting each other before it cuts away again. It's just so frustrating. I just wanted a big slugfest for this final battle, but oh well. On to the next number. Number 5, Godzilla vs Hedorah, the final battle. Okay, here is a long ass fight that drives me nuts, because there is just so much time wasting. So many scenes are just the two monsters standing there not doing anything, just staring at each other, or just standing there with nothing happening. It's so frustrating. We get a good 2 minutes of Hedorah just standing there in one scene. He's just standing there looking at the two electrode things and nothing's happening. It's so annoying, so frustrating, and just so bizarre. This whole fight scene is just, it's just weird. We cut away every now and then to see the two monsters fighting, and it is some good stuff, but we keep cutting away to the dull humans watching the fight or the military failing as they usually do. It's such a bizarre and just weird fight. Yes, this is the fight which has Godzilla flying in it, which is awesome. I can't take that away from it, but the rest of the fight is just very it's frustrating because you're wanting these two to fight and they're just standing there, and then they do fight and we get about a minute of them fighting and they cut away to the humans. This is probably going to be my most controversial pick on this list. Anyway, on to the next number. Number 4, Godzilla and Rodan vs King Ghidorah in Invasion of the Astro Monster. Another disappointing final fight. This is really just because of how short it is. It's probably the shortest fight in this whole list, simply because the budget ran out, and it really shows. We get less than 2 minutes of monsters fighting, and they cut away halfway into it to look at some humans. And there's not really much that happens in this fight. Ghidorah just shoots its gravity beams at Godzilla and Rodan and Godzilla just crash into Godzilla twice and then fall off a cliff. Clearly they wanted to do more in this final fight, but the budget ran out, so again, disappointing that it's short. Number 3, Godzilla vs Mechagodzilla 3, the first battle in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Can I really call this a battle? Because, well, Godzilla does nothing. He just stands there and then runs away. Mechagodzilla just shoots everything at him, and then Godzilla just buggers off. It's not much of a fight at all. Nothing happens. Godzilla just shows up, gets shot, and then buggers off. And this was supposed to be the big first encounter of these two, and it's just nothing. Godzilla retreats. Godzilla never retreats. He shouldn't retreat. My god, they got so much wrong with that. Yeah, just Godzilla just gets shot by some missiles and then he just walks away. Great fight. If they wanted to show off how powerful this Mechagodzilla was, then that'd be great. But this is just a complete, just nothing. Because all it does is just show that this Godzilla is very weak. He does nothing but stand there and then gets shot and walks off. I've repeated that about 5 times now, so I'm just going to move on to the next number. Number 2, Godzilla vs King Ghidorah in Planet Eaters. Oh my god, this was supposed to be the big climactic final battle of the whole trilogy, and it's nothing. It's nothing. It's just Godzilla attacking a ghost, not being able to do anything to it, and then Ghidorah just biting onto him, and they just stand there for ages. Such a disappointment. This final battle sums up everything wrong with the whole entire anime trilogy. So much build up, so many good ideas that lead to nothing, that lead to just disappointment. It's such a shame, such a disappointing shame. This could have been amazing. Like, it's Godzilla versus a gigantic ghost, like god-like Ghidorah, but no, he's just standing there getting bitten. Because the real bad guy of this guy is the real threat that we have to focus on. Oh, this whole trilogy was just a mess. Anyway, number 1. Godzilla vs the Giant Condor in Godzilla vs Hedorah. Okay, I don't really need to say much more about this fight because it's renowned as being the worst fight in the Godzilla franchise for a reason, because it gives you motion sickness. Shaky camera and the puppets just flailing at each other is incredibly disorientating to watch. I have no idea what happens in this fight, just Godzilla is waving his arms about and the Condor is just flapping about. But the camera just makes it so hard to tell what's going on. It's amazingly disorientating and it can actually make you feel sick. It is by far and away the worst fight in the whole Godzilla franchise, for a reason. It has earned its reputation for a reason because, well, just look at this. Look at this fight. Tell me you're not getting motion sickness just watching this. I'm having motion sickness editing it. Oh dear, it's just a mess. Anyway, tell me what your worst fights would be in the comments below, and You know, I'm sure this video will get no negativity whatsoever, but, you know, next list I'll do will be something much more positive, I promise. I'll see you guys next time in that video. Make sure to subscribe and all that good stuff. I'll see you later. Bye bye.